Water Guard TV, man, y'all, we back at it. Y'all know when I do the environmental specialist, man, we here looking at the rapper Blueface get sentenced. Y'all know what's in the description, man. If you need good, clean water, got
So the court has properly reiterated the terms of the negotiation. I think since Mr. Ports went into some of the detail, I think it's important for the court to have some context and understand why this negotiation is the way it is. Um, while it is certainly true that Mr. Trailer was involved in a fight with people at the strip club, Mr. Porter was not involved in that fight. And what happened later was Mr. Trailer went to his vehicle and then drove very slowly up to a group of people who he felt had aggrieved him in the fight and rolled down his window.
Y'all see how the man is not even looking. They didn't even teach him good body language to be looking at. He looking around like he don't even want to be here. It's crazy. What y'all think? But let me finish.
And displayed a firearm, causing other people to jump back. And then he sped into a group of people, ended up hitting a woman and hitting other cars, and then took off. And that's at the moment when the conduct from our client occurs. So while I'm not here to minimize it in any way, it's dangerous, there is no doubt, but there is a lot from Mr. Trailer that led up to this. And I think the court should also be aware Mr. Trailer is suing Mr. Porter, the nightclub. The nightclub is being sued by the woman who got hit by Mr. Trailer. I mean, there is a lot of moving parts here. But then Mr. Trailer met up with friends over at Town Center in a parking lot, didn't call the police. He was in his employer's work truck, and he must have realized the next day that he needed to explain why he got into an accident and hit these other cars in his employer's work truck. And only then did he decide to make a police report. And he did have some kind of a graze wound on his hand. Again, no one here to minimize that. I think the court needs to understand that there's a dynamic here. I think because of the civil litigation, Mr. Porter's probably going to opt not to address the court, but I'll let him decide that. The negotiation is reasonable given the circumstances of this case. The other incident that Mr. Ports references has to do with taking a cell phone from a woman, and that is who was filming him, and the woman was actually punched by a female colleague of Mr. Porter's. But again, not trying to minimize. We didn't come in here to minimize. We came in here to say that the negotiation is reasonable and the court should follow it. I would add, he does live in California and will be seeking interstate compact transfer under the interstate compact agreement. We believe that an underlying sentence of 12 to 36 months is appropriate versus the state's position of 4 to 10. There is no restitution request in this case, I noted from the probation report, and I assume that's because Mr. Trailer is going to pursue his remedies in some civil suit. And it does appear that Mr. Porter has credit time served for 22 days by my read of the probation report. So we would ask that the court, I don't think that there's any opposition to the order out. I thought that the strip corridor ended at Sahara.
I did too, and that's why I was curious to see if there was a separate order related, because I think what the focus is if he's going to be interstate compacting, obviously,
right,
limited issue there, but if he's going to be here, the request being made, and to the extent casinos and sort of those environments might be not appropriate during the probation.
Right.
I understand the ask, I just wanted to see how it covered it, and they know that they've changed it somewhat recently, and I don't have a copy of it.
I mean, if you wanted to include it to strip corridor to the 95, that's fine. I think you could just say it that way. I just don't think that the traditional order out. Region covers downtown.
But he's not otherwise seeking to not have the order out or be employed in those areas or anything like that.
We're not opposing it. He doesn't live here, and it's fine, and that's fine.
Mr. Porter, is there anything that you would like to say on your own behalf today? I appreciate that you have the other matter pending, but
Ask him, did he have anything he wanted to say? She's probably.
it's up to you entirely. This is your opportunity to say something, but you're certainly not on. Okay. Mr. Porter's going to decline to speak on his own behalf today.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, I forgot. Ms. Wildeveld is reminding me. There's one thing in the PSI that's not accurate.
Okay.
In the criminal history, it shows that there was a restraining order. That was dismissed. Yeah, I think page 4. It's
At the bottom of the
It's at the very bottom, supplemental information. That restraining order was dismissed in August.
All right, it looks like it just had, when they found that the original expiration term, they were not aware that it had been dismissed.
Right,
I did not
yeah.
rely on that in any way for today's purposes.
Okay.
Primarily focusing on the prior history and the weapon history, but we'll make that note for the record here today, that although there apparently was a protective order, it's not currently operating.
Okay, great, thank you.
It's time now to hear from Mr. Traylor. Are you ready to come up, sir? Do you want to be at the council table or at the podium? Okay, come on up. Before you do your testimony, the clerk will speak. Swear you in before you speak.
Raise your right hand. You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, ma'am.
Please state your full name, spelling your first and last name for the record.
Kentavious Traylor, Kentabb as in boy, IUS, last name Traylor, Traylor.
And Mr. Traylor, what is your testimony today for the court?
So first of all, I just want to start by saying thank you, Judge. I'm just completely disappointed in this complete process, actually. From the DA to his representation to him to everything. It's just all been a complete drop of the ball on my end. I have complete lost faith in the justice system. This crime has done nothing but take a toll on my life since the day it happened. I haven't been able to get work. Everything has gone down the drain. I just feel like this has not been done on my case. I mean, this hasn't been done on my behalf. I know people who get more time for stealing bubble gum, honestly. I know people who do more time for stealing TVs than they do for shooting somebody. I'm just completely disappointed in all of this. I hate the way my name was ridiculed in the social media before I could even find out about it. Like I said, just this complete process has been a complete drop of the ball. That's all I got to say about it. It's a complete drop of the ball, and that's it. It is what it is.
And Mr. Taylor, I really appreciate you expressing the frustrations that you have, and I know that
He went off on everything.
Change that because what the negotiation is has a certain range of sentence and a certain
but even that, like I said, I feel like those terms and conditions. I know myself included, would have more than that for domestic violence, for this or that. He has this going over multiple states, multiple this, multiple that. You guys are arguing semantics on can he come here to make money, and so he doesn't deserve to be here. He doesn't deserve to be out and walking around. He doesn't deserve any of that, honestly. But because he has a little bit of money and a little bit of a name, you guys are going to give him that, and that's okay. But just at the end of the day, like I said, I just want to say my piece, and like I said, I'm completely disappointed in all of this.
Understood. Mr. Triller, I'm not trying to convince you anything otherwise, and I'm not having a dialogue with you here. I'm just trying to give you the wrap up here that we are going to conclude this case. It sounds like you have another process pending.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with how I feel about this in general.
Again, not a dialogue.
Yeah.
I'm just sharing some information with you, okay? I understand that. I'm not trying to convince you of anything different. I'm trying to tell you that we're going to complete this process here today.
He's
to the extent that it closes out this process, good or bad, obviously bad from your perspective, it will close it out. And I hope that you'll use the other process to
He trying to keep
find
his hand.
whatever, relief it is that you are seeking,
he
and not
wanna
meaning
break
whatever
somebody's
I
face.
presuppose any outcome there, but just that there is another avenue. And
Yeah.
the court is going to act within the parameters of what it has here
He
and
looking
bring
at
this
his
matter to a
phone.
close. But I can assure you, I'm not giving anybody any breaks because of any status they have or money they have. I'm working within the system and within a negotiation, and I trust my counsel to make negotiations for reasons, and I appreciate that that's not going to sit well with you. I just thank you for your time here today and letting us know how you feel about it,
Yes, ma'am.
because that's important.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. You may
Appreciate
take your seat if you wish to stay. At this time, the court will proceed with the sentencing of Mr. Porter, and as per negotiations.
Hold on, I gotta speak
I'm
about
gonna,
that one, y'all.
Give an opportunity of probation to Mr.
So this guy must have been the owner of the club. I heard them refer to his name. He was completely pissed about the sentence that they negotiated with Blueface and the district attorney. And I would love to hear his story. We didn't hear his whole story, but he felt like just because Blueface got some money that for a shoot in it, he probably got, they saying Blueface's defense was speaking on his name about, him doing all of this and him doing all of that. So it's like they was kind of pinning it on him. It wasn't coming out of Blueface's mouth. It was the lawyers. So I want to know what y'all think. It was a weird situation.
Porter, same discussion with you, Mr. Porter, that I had with another gentleman this morning. You are here and doing probation here, unless you are affirmatively approved, meaning given actual permission by the Federal Probation Department to travel out of state, whether it be a travel pass initially or your interstate compact, but you will have to be here doing your probation. And I'm going to go through the terms and conditions and your underlying sentence and all the specifics. And I want to emphasize something here before I even get to that point. I don't typically go through the standard conditions of probation one by one because I don't feel it's necessary. I know that they're applicable, and then figure when you go through your orientation process and all that. Someone who has some prior history may be familiar already with some of those things. But the main point that I have for you here is the weapons, is the guns. You know you cannot have guns. There's no confusion on that point. And if you choose to roll guns, then that's your choice. But I will tell you, if you get caught doing that, you get brought back here on any kind of probation violation, especially anything involving weapon, I will not hesitate to put you in prison for a significant period of time. You are playing with your liberty, your life, obviously, but you're playing with your liberty if you're going to have guns and do anything that's going to violate your probation in that regard. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't want there to be any confusion. I hear people who say things about, I didn't realize I couldn't, do this or that or have pictures with them or whatever. No, 0 guns around you where you are of any kind. And that needs to be quite clear. Somebody just handed me the order out, and it looks like Sahara to Russell does not cover downtown. So I'm going to account for that. So I'm going to adjudicate Mr. Porter this time guilty of discharge firearm at or into occupied structure via aircraft or watercraft. His underlying sentence will be a minimum of 24, maximum of 60 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections, suspended with probation not to exceed 36 months. He will
Creating your first video? You should start with the music. Go to artlist.io and get high quality music and sound effects for
have to pay the $25 return assessment fee, $3 DNA collection fee, $150 DNA analysis fee. As we noted, no restitution being requested. We do have, I'm not going to impose a fine. I do have the standard conditions of probation, as I noted, including any weapon requirements applicable. Special conditions will include, and we'll just start there because that was the discussion, that he is ordered to stay out of the strip corridor. And he's also ordered to stay out of any gating facility, institutions, or what would be indicated as the downtown corridor, the equivalent of strip corridor. So effectively, and again, until he interstate compacts, he can only be in those areas if he has work application or some other legitimate basis to be there, not as a pastime, as a just killing time in the areas in any way, shape, or form. And so the order out is for the strip corridor and the downtown corridor. We will also require him to have no contact whatsoever with Mr. Trailer or his family. I appreciate that. It sounds like others are having contact. I'm not going to say on your behalf, but directly, you're directing it, but clearly that's happening. To the extent that there can be any effort to ensure that Mr. Trailer is not being harassed for this situation or having contact, so be it. But your obligation is no contact that you initiate or that you initiate through anyone else by any means or medium of any kind. We want you to understand that I think impulse control counseling would benefit here as well to make better choices in the future in these circumstances. No use, possession, or control of alcohol or drugs, that includes marijuana. I take that very seriously for all probationers, so we have compliant probation. I want you to have structure to your probation, so full-time employment is required. Comply with any curfew that may be imposed. Report within 48 hours, so no later than Wednesday, to the probation department to get started on the process. Do not take for granted that you need to be doing all of these things and that somehow someone's going to look the other way on that. You need to report, you need to be compliant at all times. And in addition to the standard search clauses, I have one special search clause that any digital storage media that you have access to or use, including computers, handheld communication devices, network applications, associated devices, social media, remote search services are also need to search. You must provide all passwords, unlock codes, and account information associated with those items with or without a search warrant. At the request of division of full information on its agents. As to the count 2 adjudication, that is the battery, misdemeanor, also this magistrate giving you credit for time served, so your probation's only going forward on the one count. But you do have a significant sentence hanging over your head. It's not the max the state asked for, but it is still significant. I'm not undermining any of your prior history. I'm looking at this case and the circumstances as I understand them, but I do want to be clear that, again, I will not hesitate for you to spend a significant amount of time in prison in the state of Nevada if you do not comply with this probation in all respects, and you do not stay away from those weapons, and any of that comes to light for us, all right? I think the other counts were all.
So she basically saying that he can't have no guns around him, so boy, that may have sent the dogs at him. But let me know what y'all think about this, man. It looks like Blueface lawyers threw the other guy under the bus. I don't know if he was a club owner or he got charged. But let me know what y'all think. I'll catch y'all in the next one.